3, 2, 1. Hey everybody, thank you for tuning in to episode number whatever of Teddy Bears and Tentacles podcast. My name is Quinn, and I have with me today my constant co-host, Skinny Rick.
That's right.
With the haircut.
We're here. We got a haircut.
Still, dude, you still got the haircut. What's up with that?
I don't know.
You got to push them things out, dude.
All right.
So yeah, we're back with not with the anything. It's 2021. We're back. New year. New.
It is a new year.
New nothing so far. You know, we're gonna have some projects coming up. Maybe change up the set and stuff. But we've just been so busy getting that other studio done that we haven't really had the opportunity to do anything like that yet. So that'll be upcoming, probably in the spring or maybe this summer. And we got a lot of stuff to go through today, but first, how was your holiday, Skinny Rick?
Pretty good. We got to visit family.
Yeah.
And I got stuff for Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got a new North Face jacket.
Sweet.
That I fit because I outgrew my other one because it's from when I was like 15.
Yeah.
So, yeah, got that. I got myself some gifts as well.
Yeah.
So I had fun though. It was nice to have a break, but I'm going to be going back to school here shortly.
Next week, dude. Yeah. Round 2.
Yep.
I had a pretty good time myself. Callie and I went to Baton Rouge, and we had a lot of fun. Got some good food and got to see some family. You know, kind of in the same realm as what we're going to talk about today. A lot of people getting old and getting sick, and you know, we had I had a family member pass away this week, and then a couple weeks ago, you know, we had a friend of ours kind of die suddenly. So been thinking a lot about that kind of stuff, dude. As I get older, it's, you know, it's a rough thing, you know. Whenever you're a kid, you don't have to think about it that much, but when you get older, dude, they start coming.
Yeah, dude.
Or going or leaving or whatever.
Everyone's dying out here.
Yeah. It's rough, man. So, what we're going to talk about today is the funeral industry. This is something that I never really spent any time to learn about, so I figured it would be kind of interesting to learn the history of it and all of that. So we'll go ahead and start off. The funeral industry has evolved. That's the name of this article. This is on Funeral Wise. In the U.S., the Funeral Wise.
They got their own thing.
Yeah, dude.
Nice.
Funeral Association of America, FAA. In the U.S., the funeral service industry is relatively new. Until the 20th century, funerals in the U.S. were organized by family and neighbors and held at home. People were often buried on family property. As communities became larger and more established, common cemeteries began to be used, and funeral homes were later established to relieve the family of the logistical problems presented by a death. So, basically just as the population grew, people had less room, on personal property to be able to have personal cemeteries and stuff like that. So it's kind of crazy to think about that. That's how it used to, be. You get like buried in your backyard or whatever, which is kind of wild. The term undertaker refers to the person who undertook responsibility for funeral arrangements. Many of the undertakers were furniture makers because building caskets was a logical extension of their business. That I did not know. The undertakers also built the caskets.
Yeah, dude.
Back in the day.
It's like that wrestling guy.
Yeah. He's like he's like your escort into the afterlife, you know?
He takes you there. That Uber.
Yeah.
That Uber to eternity.
Yeah. So the origin of embalming. Although embalming dates back to the ancient Egyptians, the U.S. began doing it during the Civil War, and it became necessary to preserve the bodies of dead soldiers for their trips home. And then this says, from caskets to coffins, casket making also evolved in the early days when undertakers made the coffins. By 1950, there were 700 companies manufacturing caskets in the U.S. At that time, over 50% of the caskets sold were made of cloth-covered wood or cardboard. However, metal caskets were gaining favor, and they required a more sophisticated manufacturing process that could only be provided by larger companies. Yeah, so...
Dude, cardboard?
And then it basically just goes on to say, that the funeral homes basically, for the most part, stay in the family, having consolidators that they kind of pass these funeral homes on to, which is kind of weird.
That's weird, dude, but...
Yeah.
It's like if you make it out of cardboard, then as soon as someone puts a little bit of dirt back on that thing, you're just gonna get crushed.
Well, that's what you're gonna find out here shortly. So, in the process of,
dude, what's happening?
My mic is, I don't know what's happening, man. Check. Okay. All right. So in the process of looking some of this stuff up, this question kind of came to mind, which is, do you have to, report if you find a dead body? And so this is a Vice article from 2017, which I just found it kind of interesting. So after her older sister died in late 2015, Elizabeth Freese left the body to rot in an Oregon home they shared for 5 months. The decomposing corpse went undiscovered until April of last year, when Freese fell on the front porch and required medical attention. That's when emergency responders made a startling discovery. Christine Freese had died of natural causes and been left to rot in a bed in the home filled with heaps of garbage, apparently since November 2015.
So she was still living there, and her sister was just dead in the other room?
Rotting, dude.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
This lady's crazy.
But while Freese's failure to report her sister's body may have been shocking, it wasn't against the law. In some states across America, there is no statute in place requiring irregular people to report dead bodies, especially if there's no indication a crime took place. Although local laws may obligate certain officials, such as police, to report deaths, and others may ban the general public from abusing corpses, there remains something of a loophole in place depending on where you live if a corpse is decomposing in your own home. Of course, plenty of states have laws that require people to report deaths in a certain time frame. Some ban citizens from treating corpses in a way that might. Kentucky describes it outrage ordinary family sensibilities. Yeah, of course, Kentucky has to be clear about that. Then it just goes on to say, if you discover a corpse, you don't have to do anything. Some people say that that's wrong and that the law should require it, but it doesn't. And that's basically the article. You don't have to report a dead body, which is pretty wild, dude. Yeah. You ever seen Stand By Me, the movie?
No.
Is that what it is? Lean on Me? What's that movie called? What's the one where they go find the guy?
Stand Near.
No, that's not it.
In my area, I don't know. I don't think I know what you're talking about.
Stand By Me, yeah.
Stand By
Me. Yeah, Stand By Me, dude. Yeah.
What happens in that, dude?
That's just one of those old movies, with like one of the guys from the Goonies in it, Corey, whatever, the guy that said that the pedophile guy. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Yeah, you do, dude. This guy right here, check him out. Look, Corey Feldman, dude. This guy, man.
What?
You know what I'm talking about? He's in the Goonies.
He's doing a PDF file.
Well, no. He said that he was getting a PDF file done too. He's one of the yeah. He's like one of the Isaac Cappy. That's has nothing to do with this. But that in that movie they find out that there's like a dead body somewhere, and they go try and like find it or something. I don't know.
Oh.
And then the other thing that I was kind of interested in while doing this is like, what is a coroner, and kind of like what do they do? Because you hear that there's someone that has to be elected, and it's just one of those weird things. So this was on September 21st, 2017, and this is Science Care. People often confuse coroners with medical examiners. Although they are associated with the same line of work, there are key differences. A medical examiner is a licensed forensic pathologist, which is a medical doctor specializing in the investigation of violent, unexpected, suspicious, or unattended deaths. Let's see. A coroner, on the other hand, is elected and appointed official whose primary duty is to determine and certify the cause of death. Coroners usually work in association with the sheriff's department and are not necessarily required to hold a medical degree. But to add to the confusion, medical examiners are sometimes called coroners and vice versa. Coroners who do not perform medical examiner tasks, such as performing an autopsy, would be required to be a licensed medical doctor.
Huh.
Wow. So lots of confusion, dude. Basically, the coroner is just an elected official. And so I kind of looked up the history of it a little bit. So this is from Funeral Wise again. Back in Mother England, the office of coroner formally established in 1194, according to the Coroner Society of England and Wales. There was a lot of money in death, and the coroner's job was to collect the loot left behind after certain deaths occurred and pass it to the crown. Oh my gosh. Crazy, dude. There's no doubt that, if there's something like this, dude, the royal family has a hand in it. It's crazy. Suicides were investigated, explains the Society's webpage, on the grounds that the goods and chatlets of those found guilty of the crime of felo de se, or self-murder, would then forfeit to the crown. So even suicides, they would just get their stuff, dude. They'd take their stuff. Pretty interesting.
Didn't realize that the royalty needed to be scavengers.
Dude, yeah. Callie started watching The Crown on Netflix, which is basically them trying to do. It's like one of those documentary like film type things. It's a show, but it's about the life of Queen Elizabeth, and it's wild, man, how they kind of have that stuff set up. And one of the first episodes, whenever she's queen, there's like a dude who's he's like the whatever, he's like her assistant pretty much. He just handles all of her day-to-day stuff. And, they have like somebody, like a subordinate who's supposed to take a spot. And she's just like, yeah, I want like little Terry to do it instead. Because the guy's retiring, and he's like this guy has trained his entire life to have this position. Yeah. She's like, don't care. And it's like, that's how some of that stuff went down. So pretty weird. We still vote for the coroner, which is, it's just bizarre to me. So the next question I had to ask, of course, was, and for some reason it lost the highlight. How much money does the U.S. funeral industry make every year? This is the largest ad I've ever seen. Okay. And, of course, it gets rid of the highlight again. Yes.
The what?
Okay, the highlight. So today, the average traditional funeral costs between $8,000 and $10,000. About 42% of people are cremated. The U.S. funeral industry accounts for about $20 billion in annual economic activity, with around 130,000 employees that make a living on the 1.5 million people that go to rest each year. Another phenomenon in death care industry is how people continue to live on via social media after they have received a death certificate. The creation of virtual legacies is now a new industry emerging in the digital age. So $20 billion floats around every year in the funeral industry.
Dude, listen. Here's what I'm saying. There's always people dying. Yeah. So you're always making money.
Yeah. Here's the other problem. The cremation, I found out in the process of this too, cost about $6,000 itself. So almost the cost of for almost the cost of a funeral, that's what cremation costs, which is just bizarre to me. So next thing I wanted to kind of bring up This mic feels like it's just kind of
Being weird.
yeah. Okay, the next thing I wanted to bring up was like what happens if you die and you or a relative or whatever can't afford a funeral. So like I said, the average funeral cost is this says 6,000 to 7,000. Doesn't really matter. For many grieving families, paying thousands of dollars to bury a relative just isn't economically feasible. When a relative dies and you can't afford the funeral because costs are out of your budget, here's what you need to do. See, they have a life insurance policy. Most of those, have like a funeral thing built in. Low cost burial options. It says getting a loan, get family members to chip in. But this is the option that I found interesting. If you can't come up with the money to pay for a cremation or burial costs, you can sign a release form to your county coroner's office that says you can't afford to bury the family member. If you sign the release, the county and state will pitch in to either bury or cremate the body. The county may also offer you the option to claim the ashes for a fee. If these go unclaimed, they'll bury the ashes in a common grave alongside other unclaimed ashes. Obviously, when a person dies, it's terribly emotionally for. So that's interesting. You can just say that you don't have the money for it, and you don't get a funeral, but you won't have to pay $6,000 to get cremated.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I feel like you could make it work,
Who?
Like how anyone.
Yeah.
Like how much is like a barrel?
A barrel?
Yeah.
5 gallon? I don't know.
No, like a big one.
Yeah, 5 gallon or not 55 gallon.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just buy one of those. Put the person in it, seal it back up, bury that. There you go, dude.
So you can get one for $71 for a plastic one, or about $100 for a steel one.
Probably a steel one, dude.
Yeah, I don't want a steel one. So
You're telling me that we could order one of these right now.
Yeah.
Like
what, a barrel?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do it.
I want one.
So what do you think, dude? What would you want to do? You'd want to get buried or cremated?
Oh, I don't want to be cremated.
You don't want to be cremated? You'd rather be buried?
I'd rather, yeah, but I also always just imagine that I'd die in an explosion. So,
yeah.
That's,
all right.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so you're just saying nothing.
You could probably just push me into a ditch.
Okay, dude. Here's a I don't know. I think I'd want to be cremated, dude, to be honest with you. I'm not into the idea of just like rotting, in like a box personally. But I'm also not, you know me well enough to know I'm not one of those people that are like, oh, we need like spread my ashes in the
wind.
Yeah, I'm not that either. So like I'm also not fond of the idea of just sitting in like somebody's closet or something like that. But
that thing says pink SpongeBob large cremation.
Now, dude, this right here is a
no way. You're telling me that they put your dead body into a crystal?
Yeah, dude. This right here is what I'm talking about. I would do something like this right here and then throw it into the ocean like Titanic, or give it to somebody I don't even know. You know what I mean? And tell them this is because they are expensive. You can get, so check this out. You can get, there's like a carat range. Go ahead and take this on the screen. Yeah, go ahead and take this. So this is lifegem.com and camera one. Take camera one.
What?
Or take input one.
Tripping. I forgot we got that set up.
Yeah. So this is LifeGem right here, and you can get, if you look here, you can see pretty much like there's a range of carats that you can get. You can get the price of it, and then you have like a quantity. So I guess if you want like earrings or something like that, you can get that too. And so there's different prices for different types of gems, green life gem, ruby, all that stuff. So pretty interesting in my opinion. Oh, dude, they have it for pets. How much is it to get your pet into a life gem?
So like the state, it says.
Yeah, let's see if Georgia's got a, and we may or may not be in Georgia. Yeah, dude, there's a, Yeah, it looks like these are all pet cremation places, and then you gotta, I guess they'll send the ashes to get your stone made. It's pretty weird. And then this right here is also an option that I saw within the last few years. These are these burial pods where they'll put your body in this thing and put like some type of a tree. So let's see. Your carbon footprint doesn't end in the grave. While you rest in peace, the wood, synthetic cushioning. So this is some hippie stuff right here. And metals generally used in traditional coffins, as well as the concrete around reinforced graves, continue to litter the earth. So Italian designer Raoul Bretzel and Anna Citelli may have the solution. They call it
would design this.
Yeah, Capsula Mundi World's capsule. Once buried, they say the biodegradable plastic shell breaks down and the remains provide nutrients to a sapling planted right above it. So yeah, I mean, they talk about the science behind it. I don't think that we really need the science to go over the science of that personally, but yeah, I mean, what do you think about that? What's your opinion on this right here? Something like this.
Dude, I don't know. It's cool. I'd still much rather than just fit my body into that egg than cremate me, dude. Here's the thing. If there's a necromancy happening, I want to be a part of it. I don't want to be a pile of ashes. So
yeah, you're right.
I'm trying to find out.
But what if there's like a traditional zombie that happens too? That's not, you know what I mean? That's not what I'm into.
Yeah, but I mean,
like a Night of the Living Dead style zombie where they come out of the grave type deal.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be down if I'm already dead.
Oh.
Like if I'm dead, and then it was like, hey,
you get like a night, to go out here.
You wanna come help us attack these high school kids that lock themselves in the gymnasium? I'd be like, fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Dude, honestly, to be honest with you, like I'm kind of into this, not from a sense of like I like that it doesn't leave trash behind. I like that, like it feeds a tree, that there's going to be something there that
I want the tree to resemble my face if I'm going to do this.
It might, dude.
I want the tree to grow and then someone be like,
yeah, it might.
What is that? And then they turn and they close their eyes a little bit, and then if you squint just right, you can see, my face in the tree.
All right, let's see how much these boys cost. $10,000.
Yeah, I mean that's almost, that's a little bit more than a normal funeral.
Yeah. I like the idea of this. Okay, to be honest with you,
I don't like how just cozy these people are in that picture, though.
Yeah, I'm never gonna. Don't sit by it. Don't do any of this.
That's a freaking dead guy. And they do put the whole body in there.
Yeah. Take the thing. Take the.
So weird.
Yeah. All right. So here's the person, and they're they're dead.
Show them that first one up in the top left.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. I don't like how cozy they are.
They're just chilling. What are these little tiny ones for, dude?
That's freaking all the pets. That's the crazy cat lady that got buried. They killed all her cats to go with her. That was her in her will.
Yeah, it like resembles a womb, probably is what they would say if you go to this museum and check it out.
Click on the trees instead of tombstones. Up to the right a little bit. Yeah, click on that boy. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about just being under a tree.
I don't know, dude. I like it better than a tombstone. Dude, one day somebody's gonna buy that, think of the Catholic Church where one day somebody's gonna buy that land and they're just gonna take all those tombstones down and build a Smoothie King on top of it. So I like the tree idea, dude. I like the tree. Yeah, I like the tree. I'm doing the tree personally, I think. Don't even y'all ain't even gotta put me in the egg. Just dig a hole, throw me in there, put a couple seeds in there. There. And let's ride. Dude, I found out there's one pine tree.
I would want to be either an oak or one of like the trees out of like the redwood forest where my tree ends up being bigger than
Here's some tree right here, dude.
It's lived. I want the tree to live longer than I did, for sure. That's just how trees work.
Dude, I found out whenever I was home with my parents, there's one pine tree in our backyard that I guess I never really, pine trees aren't that common in Louisiana.
They're everywhere here, dude.
Yeah. But so there's one over there, and I overheard my dad talking about it to somebody, and he was just like, yeah, this is the one pine tree. And they were like, oh, where did it just came out of nowhere. He was like, no, it was from like some give $1 thing from a McDonald's like a long time ago, and they give you like a styrofoam cup with a seed in it, and he just threw it in the yard. It's like a full size gigantic pine tree. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool. Yeah, dude, I like this. It's kind of interesting, how they have to deal with just dead bodies, really. It's weird. People just make laws and stuff around everything, man.
So what they're, I'm a little confused. Are they just, so they're putting you down there, you got the tree, and then the tree just eats you slowly?
Yeah.
That's freaking weird.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, dude. I mean, you see over here, there's a lot over here, but in Louisiana, like you go through New Orleans and see those big cemeteries and stuff like that, and those mausoleums and stuff, just so that those caskets don't come out during floods and don't float up during floods, is like, dude, that's so much just junk. And those cemeteries are gigantic, and you just think about like, go over there to that big one, near downtown. It's like, sure, there are a few that are really pretty and stuff like that, but the ones that are 100, 200 years old, nobody goes over there and, posts up. And
I don't know, man. I just want my body to be, I want to be in like an Indiana Jones situation.
I feel you.
I'm in the tomb, and then all of a sudden someone comes in and it's like, oh no, he's got.
Yeah, but so you want your death to just be.
I want it to keep going.
Tigers or whatever. Is that what?
Oh yeah, like a cool death.
Yeah. Well, dude, I don't know, man. I don't know that there's a whole lot more for us to go over with this. I found this one interesting. This is a good change of pace. We've just been dealing with so much lately. Today, actually, the Georgia Senate election results will be done, and man,
which we may or may not be in Georgia.
Yeah, so many signs, so many signs everywhere, so much mail, dude. So many people.
So many.
Asking you if you're going to vote. I mean, I'm over it, man. I'm ready for life to feel less political and less polarized again. So I'm really looking forward to this year and moving past all this stuff, man. We got to learn how to, at some point we have to live our lives, regardless of who's president, regardless of who's Senate, regardless of, all that stuff. We have to live our lives. So that's my advice for everybody this year, man. Do you, don't worry about anybody else, or don't worry about anybody else worrying about you either.
Yep.
It's kind of how we got ourselves into this situation that we're in now, socially and, even economically, if you think about it. There are businesses in this country that are still closed due to social stigma that is around, wearing a mask or not wearing a mask, or going out or not going out, or, it's just crazy. Astra Zeneca is coming out with, they've developed a vaccine that's like 60% effective. It's very cheap, but the delivery method is the same way that we've been doing vaccines for the last few decades, instead of this mRNA thing. And if I get vaccinated, I'm going to take that. I'm going to take the 60% one. I'll take it a few times. I'd rather do that than and know how our bodies, of course there are always risks with that stuff, but
I mean, how many people 4 people have died after taking the vaccine at this point? I don't know. It's not. when it comes to putting things in my body, I want to know before
But
I do that. Right?
wouldn't you let's say you were required to take a vaccine, and they say, hey, you can take this mRNA one. We've had a 9-month testing thing for it, so it's 90% effective, but we really don't know, the long-term effect of it. It looks fine. Or you can take this one. It's the same type of vaccine you had to get before you went to school as a little kid. It's 60% effective.
Well, here's part of my things. I think I also have some trouble with it because when my doctor growing up, whenever I transferred, they really screwed everything up with my vaccines. So I got all of them, right?
You got double vaccinated. I remember this story. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead and tell it.
So growing up, you have to get certain shots each year and stuff like that. So I got all those, right? And then we transferred to another doctor when we moved, and they lost. So the other place said they sent my paperwork over. It never showed up. They lost it. So no one had my information. So I had to get all of those shots twice.
Which is crazy.
So I'm pretty vaccinated when it comes to other stuff.
You're heavily vaccinated.
Yeah. I don't know that, it gave me so much anxiety sitting there being like, so wait, we're doing this what? We're doing this twice?
Yeah.
I don't want to do it twice. And they're like, oh, we're doing it.
Yeah.
And so I don't care.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm not into it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't
necessarily think it's going to give me autism, but I also don't really want to be sticking stuff in my body that is not up to the same standards we've held in the past for testing,
And I completely agree. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with it. It's going to, I think that moving forward, this and the mask thing will continue to be the two, the two social things that people are going to be kind of focused on moving forward in the election. I mean, I'm just saying it's crazy, how much you're hearing about, the things that we were hearing about within the last 9 months now that Trump is making his way out of office. It's just bizarre, it makes you wonder how much of it was really about George Floyd, how much of it was really about COVID and the government's response to it. Sucks, man. Sucks. I cut that video for the church last week, and there's there's a shot of a woman at a protest with a sign that it just says "We're being played," and that's just how I felt, man. It's discouraged me to the point to where I've not wanted to do this podcast at times because it's hard to find legitimate information, and
it's hard to find anything.
Yeah, I'm just ready for it to move back to the way that life is meant to be. So I could really give a care less at this point about how anybody feels politically about anything. Everybody, 100% of people showed their ass this last year. Every single person. Yeah. And everybody should be embarrassed, man. Everybody should be embarrassed. So still a bunch of people out in, today is the day that they confirm Biden into the White House. There's a bunch of Trump people out there right now that are,
people
I heard that something
getting arrested.
Yeah, I heard that something's supposed to pop off, but it's not from the most reliable source, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, man, let's get out of here. You got anything else you want to talk about before we kind of move on?
I mean, not necessarily.
Okay. There are a couple of things I guess I could bring up where, there are a few platforms that have recently come out, video platforms and stuff like that, Rumble and a few other things. We're going to look into that type of thing, maybe potentially doing exclusive content for Rumble. It would be nice to make a little cash doing this thing at this point. So
doing a couple of
Yeah.
videos.
Yeah. So be on the lookout for that stuff. If you want to follow us on social media, you can follow me at TBAT Quinn. And I know, go ahead.
And you can follow me at TBATSKINERICK, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because Twitter won't help me, and I'm locked out of my account.
We'll make that a priority next week to try and get that handled. I mean, if we both have to, we may both have to reach out to him. So the issue that we're having with Skinny Rick's Twitter is that we don't remember at all the email that it was made under, but
the phone number.
The phone number is either connected to my phone number or his phone number.
Because our phone numbers end in the same numbers.
They end in the same numbers. So we're going to try and figure that out. Everybody have a good week, and we will catch y'all next time.